Welcome to the Summers Woodworking Show. This is Season 3, Episode 28, and tonight we're talking about workshop technology, and I'm Brian Gidney, your host, and you can find me at summerswoodworking.co. I'm going to start off with Regan at Regan's Woodworking and Wood Turning. You want to tell everybody who you are and how they can find you?
Yeah, sure thing, Brian. So, like Brian said, my name's Regan from Regan's Woodworking and Wood Turning. You can check me out on YouTube where I post kind of project videos, that kind of stuff, and also check me out on Facebook at Regan's Woodworking and Wood Turning.
Okay, and I'm trying to get audio for Shannon here. It's not letting him unmute himself. I can't even select him. I can select you, Regan, but I can't select Shannon. Huh. Anyway, that's Shannon Fargo in the middle here. He's a fat guy in a little shop. He's my co-host. But we can't get his audio to work. I wonder what the problem is. I'll send my responses by Morse code. Brother. Let's see here. Control box, flip camera room. Okay, go out and come back in, Shannon. I'm playing with this camera thing. Hopefully it figures things out. There we go.
Hey! Speaking of technology in the workshop, look at that. Extra clicks and boom, there we go.
All righty, man. You want to tell everybody who you are, where they can find you?
Well, certainly. My name is Shannon Fargo. You can find my YouTube channel under my name or my Facebook page under Fat Guy in a Little Shop. And yeah, I wanted to show, that's what I was trying to do before we started. I was showing Regan, I got the lights working again finally. You'd asked me about them a long time ago, what they were, and
I noticed, actually. I thought, technology, no better way to have the lights up in the background.
Yeah, a nice 1st of August Feliz Navidad chili pepper light set. So, you know,
Yeah,
I'm just going to leave
Technology right there.
I'm just going to let them go. So,
heck yeah. So anyway, our topic tonight is workshop technology. And what kind of technology do you have in your workshop there, Shannon?
Well, I was contemplating strapping a battery to the side of the hammer and calling it a digital hammer. At the moment, really, I don't have a lot, at least as far as what I work with anyway. I'm still pretty low-key as far as it all goes. Not yet gotten into the CNC realm yet. That's one day going to happen. But everything is just pretty much straight, regular electrical or battery powered. Other than sitting here with the computer and, you know, filming videos and stuff like that.
So you've got a computer in your workshop.
Yeah, my little laptop here.
Okay. So anytime you need to look up how to make something, you got it right there at your fingertips.
True.
And
Yeah, shop's close enough to the house that the Wi-Fi signal's good enough. I can even do these hangouts and stuff. So, you know, while it's not part of the cutting and assembly of projects directly, you know, like a flesh sensing saw blade or something fancier than, you know, even that, it's yeah, I mean, to look online to see, even shopping for wood sometimes. You know, where's the best deal in town for such and such kind of wood or whatever. So, while it's not directly used, it's indirectly used quite a bit.
Do you
Oh,
have
and the iPod for playing all the music when I'm not filming. So,
there you go, you gotta have tunes.
yeah, the neighbors don't particularly care for some of my selections, but hey, if you can't put together a cabinet with mid-'80s gangster rap blaring in the background, what can you use technology for?
Right. Now,
Although I will
does,
say, me singing
does your
straight out of
drill
Compton is
press,
pretty funny.
does your drill press have any lights, lasers?
No, the miter saw, the old Craftsman miter saw I had, is supposed to have the little laser beam that points where the cut's going to be.
Uh-huh.
That probably it's just the dead batteries, but that laser quit working probably after the third cut. So I've had that chop saw going for 6 or 7 years now, if not no, yeah, about 7 years maybe, and I bet it works. Like I said, for about the third cut, and so it hasn't worked since then. But I should probably change the batteries and see if that's it. But
Right.
But I also don't want to admit that I haven't taken it apart because it has the factory blade still on it. So
I know one
uh,
thing that I have in my shop that I think everybody should have in their shop is a digital angle finder.
mm, I do have one of those. I have that, and I have the little blade height gauge.
Oh, depth gauge?
Yeah, hang on one second.
Height gauge, yeah.
Let me disappear off screen.
Yeah.
It's within reach. Back years ago when I was traveling for work all the time, see, it's covered in dust. The hotel chain, was it Holiday Inns I stayed at? You got
Uh-huh.
points. You got points for stays, and you could trade them in for gift cards. And I got the little
Oh, yeah.
Wixley gauge. It wasn't the Harbor Freight model like my angle gauge is. This was somebody had it as a used one, and it's worked like a champ. I had to take the battery out of the pouch, the little bubble in the back,
Uh-huh.
and put it into the tool. I don't honestly think it was used because it didn't even have a battery in it. So, but yeah, now that you said that, I've got the angle and the little height gauge. So I am way more technological advanced than I realized.
All right, there you
And
go.
space age lithium batteries. Ooh.
Hey, yeah.
Ah.
You know what? Don't laugh. Some people are still working off of NiCads.
Well, I've got a couple of those too. So, matter of fact, somewhere up on a shelf is an old 9-volt drill, a 9-volt DeWalt, which when I got it about 20 years ago was probably the biggest, baddest drill on the block at the time, and it was 9 volts, 9.6. And I remember thinking at the time, there's no way you can beat this. And it's just, for wherever you were at, you could drill into anything. You could screw anything together anywhere you were. And then all of a sudden the 12-volt model came out. Whatever in the world have I done without 12 volts in my life? And now I'm looking at 18 and 20s hanging up there. And
Yeah.
it's like, and now when I pass a 12 volt on sale, it's like, ew, I can't, no, I wouldn't be bothered with 12 volts.
You're not up to my standards.
Yeah. You couldn't even open my mail, please, whatever. And so,
My mail.
yeah, it's funny how what we think, and and then not too long later, or just take the internet for example. I want to know an answer when I was Regan's age. I had to climb uphill both ways and fight bears.
And I can almost guarantee that now they're talking about like the 24 volts, 18 volts, and 24 volts. When I'm older, we'll be looking at like the 72 volts and 86 volts and that.
In my day, I had 36-volt drills, please. You know?
When you get to be our age, the drills will drill themselves.
Yeah, that's entirely possible too.
Yeah.
But just, you know, I mean, how fast we can adapt to things. I've even got to the point where I don't even bother. I would tell my kids all the time, Dad, the internet's down. How do I know this? Go look it up in a book. I won't even go look it up in a book anymore. If I can't Google it, then I'm not worried about it. So it's funny how, you know, just even like pointing out the angle gauge and the height gauge, how quickly we can adapt and forget that we're actually using technology sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, even, you know, I was saying earlier, oh, it's just a hand sander, it's just a powered belt sander, and you know, go back to colonial times when they were scraping and planing everything, and if you could take a Harbor Freight belt sander and say, would you like to use this? Oh, yea, verily, sir, I shall. And you know,
Exactly.
you'd have blown their mind. And we're looking at that like that's not even technology, but you know, it's all around.
Yeah.
Even the swanky lights and stuff. I've
Well,
got LED Christmas lights, for crying out loud.
In my shop, the newest technology that I've got in my shop, well, it's not in my shop yet, but it's in my office, and that is Windows 10. I downloaded that and installed it, and I tell you what, all I have to do is click on this little microphone icon. I'll do a screen share. And I'll minimize this so y'all don't see everything. I click on this little microphone right here. Schedule event.
Okay, when's your event?
August 8th,
Sure. What's the start time?
6 o'clock p.m.
What do you want to call it?
Summer's Woodworking Show, Season
I'll
3.
add Summer's Woodworking Show to your calendar for Saturday, August 8th at 6 p.m. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Okay, so now I can even talk to it.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, tell me a joke.
2 silkworms were in a race. They ended up in a tie. No invertebrates were harmed in the making of this joke.
Okay, and then I can say, well, play some music. Play music.
Okay, shuffling your music. I'm sorry, there's no music on your device.
How is it shuffling music when there is no music? Did it tell a lie to you, Brian?
Yeah. Were you lying to me?
A circle may be infinite, but my answers are not.
Well, he even gave you attitude. Look at that.
Check my email. Didn't find anything, huh? Well, play Eagles on YouTube.
Get out. Look at that.
Okay, so now all I got to do is push a button, tell my computer what I want to do, and it pretty much does it. And
So,
then,
is this the computer you're going to be using with the X-Carve?
yeah, matter of fact.
Because if you think about it, you just tell the computer, hey, tell the X-Carve, cut me some circles. Cut me some 8-inch circles.
I'm not sure if that's going to work quite yet.
Well, it'd be nice. We'll get there.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go, Regan. Well, back in my day, I had to physically upload the program to cut circles.
But
Okay,
I've got to say, you know what, one technology that I really don't think I could do without is the electronic readout on my lathe. And just the ability to be able to, if the speed of the lathe's a bit slow, just turn it up. Turn the speed up a little bit. And
Now,
so once you've taken away more material... But usually, otherwise you just have to stop it, open the cover, change the belts, re-put the cover back on, and then start it up again. Then you can start. But now
Right.
you can just turn it up.
I'll show you this video.
receiver, and I'm going to put it onto the connector.
Can you guys see that full
keyboard
screen?
Connector was originally on.
It got bigger, so.
Okay.
Then I take the original keyboard ribbon cable and plug it onto the connector on top of the receiver.
Okay, you guys see that he's installing a board, right?
Yeah, okay.
Then
He's
I'm
hooking
gonna
up gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I bet he's got who's and what's it's galore.
Now I'm going to take the control panel, connect the flat ribbon cable back to the socket here. And don't worry, it only goes on one way.
Not with a big enough hammer.
Control panel, back to the head. Gently tighten the screw. Not too tight.
I know they're Chucks, but it looks like a lot of shoe boxes behind him.
Yeah.
Now we plug the lace back into the outlet. Turn the power on. Allow it to power up.
Now you see that watch that he's putting on? He can control the speed of his lathe and the power just by using that watch.
Get out.
I've got to say, that's a bit useless. Like,
We have
how
power.
hard is it to reach over and turn the speed up compared to stopping and like,
Well, unless he's like machining a 50-foot long spindle or something. That, but you know, not being a lathe guy yet.
Well, unless you're a quadriplegic.
Yeah, but then you're probably not turning anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. You could have a contraption to help you out, you know.
But anyway, I think that was interesting, you know, and yeah, I'm stuck changing my belts manually, but, you know, I'd like to have speed control. But I saw that and I was like, get out of here.
There was
I
a
Thomas, like, you hold your tool in one hand. Like, I don't know if you're like me, but when you change the speed, if you're turning like that, right hand holds the tool, left hand turns the speed up. The electronic speed control. But when you're doing it like that, right hand holds the tool, left hand turns the speed up like that. I just think it's a bit pointless. Like,
Well, say you're turning, right? And let's see here. You got your tool like right here, right? Just
Yeah.
reach over here, turn the speed up, and you don't have to take your hand off the thing. You can just reach over here and tap on your watch.
yeah, but I just think it'd be annoying having like this, and it's not a small watch. It's like, it's a chunky piece of gear that goes on your wrist.
Yeah, I think it's cool though.
well, I mean, it just goes to show you how, you know, that'll be the next thing we're arguing about on Facebook forums is whether wrist dials. That's not woodworking. That's, you know, if you don't change the belts manually, that's not really lathe turning. I mean, there's an infinite number of things. We watched a video earlier in the house on a thing called Tooli, Tooli. I don't know if anybody's seen it or not, but it's a Kickstarter program for it's a different type of 3D setup, kind of like an X-Carve in a way, but it has the ability to have a changeable head. One is a laser that you know does laser burning. Then there was an airbrush attachment for it. There was a what do you call it? Applicator or something like that. It was where you can put a material in, kind of like a clay or something, and it'll physically squirt it out onto the pattern you want. Or you can attach markers and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was a interchangeable head setup, and it was pretty cool to watch. It has its own little touchscreen panel on the side for setting stuff up. And when my wife was watching it, you know, I saw this look in her eye that made me nervous because, you know, she's getting ideas. But, you know, it's one of those things that we joke about it, and, you know, everybody's all up in arms because of X-Cars and Shapokos and whatever the next, you know, 3D machine is going to be. And technology's not going away.
Right.
So,
well, I remember, what was it? It was sometime last year. I think it was last year or earlier this year. We were talking about 3D printing out of wood filament. I mean, I think that's cool, man. You print out a box and sand it to your liking, you know, and it's wood.
yeah.
Only
So,
thing is you didn't cut it, you didn't trim it, you didn't sand it, you know, to shape.
I did see a video actually of that, and I was kind of underwhelmed almost by it because this video, so it almost looked like they were printing out a box made of MDF, and it just looked tacky almost. It did, you could tell straight away, wood box, handmade, like the kind of with actual pieces of wood, and then 3D printed box, because it literally looked like something that's been 3D printed but made out of brown stuff.
Well, you also got to look at it this way. In China, they're building houses with these 3D printers. And they can build 20 in a day. You know? So, would you like to wait a year for your house, or would you like it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, if I don't have one at the moment, then yeah. But you know, but with stuff like that, you know, like you said, Regan, it looks tacky. But then you turn around, because you could rapidly knock them out. You hand them to kids and let them paint them up for Mother's Day and Father's Day gifts, kind of thing. You know, I don't see any of this stuff completely replacing classical, traditional kind of woodworking stuff. I mean, there'll always be people who, you know, want to do the old, time-honored and different ways. You know, they'll still make.
And I think you're right, and I think that's the right point you've kind of made. Like, sometimes it doesn't need to be classical, traditional woodworking. Sometimes it just needs to be something you can give out to kids for free or for a couple of dollars or something, and like, go run off and give this to your mum, or go paint this up, and then it's an even kind of nicer present because it's handmade from the kids, so from whoever gives it.
Well, he also pointed out that it even feels and smells like real wood. And, you know, just to see it make something like that, I thought that was fascinating. I mean, you can knock out a bunch of keychains, sell them for a couple of bucks. You know, you got maybe a couple of pennies into it and hardly any of your own time. You know?
Well,
make a pattern, print it out.
And, you know, yeah, to customize something on the spot, in a way, for, you know, if you're at a craft show and you've got your normal, where it takes, you know, an hour, 2 hours to build the thing, and you've got a recessed little place up top, and, okay, what's the person's name you're giving it to? Oh, Susan. And it prints out Susan, and you glue the sucker in, you hand it right to them. Be back in 10 minutes, and I'll have it personalized for Susan. And there you go.
And that's brilliant, because now they can't, like, forget someone's birthday and just hand it or re-gift it to someone else. They have to come back to you to buy another one. They can't just have something for Susan and Susan hates it and then re-gifts it on to the next person. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you know, unless they're over there with a, you know, screwdriver trying to pry it off. And
Or like they have like some strange family where everyone in their family's named Susan.
you know, think about it. If you
Or their
gave it,
last name is Susan. That would be perfect.
yeah. Or, you know, it's the one time George Foreman comes by your booth. It's good for most of his kids. So.
Now, Shannon, you remember Kmart, where you used to go in a Kmart and you can go and have your picture taken in a booth? Now say you're at a booth at Kmart with your CNC machine, and somebody walks up to you and says, hey, can you have this on wood? And they send you like a picture of them and say, I'd like to see that in wood. Go in there, vectorize it, get it to where it looks nice, and start cutting it and hand it to them and say, is that what you like?
Again, I mean, it's where this kind of technology, if a person just, I mean, how many ideas have we come up with sitting here in 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
And we're hardly motivated to actually apply technology to imaginary projects. But, yeah, so imagine, you know, somebody out there trying to, you know, just wanting to make money at the craft show side. Think of Jerry right now sitting down there in Austin sweating his butt off because he's outside, missing his air conditioner. Yeah, I said it, Jerry. Missing your air conditioner.
Yeah, he's out in the summer heat while his shop's nicely cool.
You know those dogs are out there just loving it, laying on his table saw, enjoying the cold. But yeah, I mean, perfect point. You know, with some of that small technology like that, you can be right there in your booth and open up all sorts of sales. I mean, even a couple months ago. He was doing buttons. The Drunken Woodworker did a little video about the button making thing. I mean, something like that could help a man, help anybody really, just close all sorts of deals as far as a craft show or something like that. Or, oh crap, the birthday party for little Johnny's tonight. What do we do? You know, you print him out. You don't got to go to the store. I'm gonna jump in the shower. You turn the printer on, and we'll take him. Whatever comes out.
Yeah.
But
well, not to mention, I don't know how many scrollers out there. They're like, well, the CNC machine isn't, you know, really woodworking. Scrolling it out is. But you know what? What they're doing, and don't get me wrong, guys. I like the CNC. I mean, I like the scroll saw too, but I have not seen one actually draw out a pattern on a piece of wood before they cut it. They usually go to their computer, they print out a design, they spray adhesive on it, stick it on their piece of wood, and then they cut out the pattern. You know? That's a form of technology that they're, you know, using.
I think we've also, like, look at scroll saws. Like, look at people using electric scroll saws. There was a time where people would be talking like this, not on Google Hangouts, but like talking in person. That's that other thing people do sometimes. Where they'd be talking about, oh, look at all you people, that's not real scrolling because you don't, like, control the speed with your foot when you're pedaling the scroll saw so it works and that. That's not traditional woodworking. Well, it's kind of, it's an evolution process, the same as humans evolve. Kind of technology evolves.
Well, and you know, we'll pick on Charlie because he's not here, and we can. That Star Wars portrait that he did, you know, how many hours was involved in that thing? Tell me if he couldn't have thrown that up on a bench and let something, you know, its way through there. I mean, not that he probably would have done that every time, but as far as repeatability, you know, he makes the first one, I'm sure. But then after that, if you've got the program for that, you at least to have it as an option. maybe you do want to do everyone by hand because that's just what you like to do and you've got the time, go for it.
Yeah.
But in a situation like that where that's a huge thing and it's labor intensive out the yin yang, I'm sure, it's not always the most cost effective thing to do because then you've got to price it for your time where it's astronomical, but a CNC could knock it out, or even other forms of technology could knock it out in, you know, a fraction less time. Maybe now, you know, your price can come down a little bit, or maybe you keep your price and you just enjoy the profit. However you want to do that, but it's now a method of getting more stuff out there faster, but you can still go back and do hand-done stuff too. I mean, it all works together.
I think in terms of a consumer's perspective kind of thing, it's going to make woodworking more available for people to buy. Like they're going to be able to, where before they may have not been able to afford like a nice kind of jewelry box kind of thing. Now they're going to be able to, it's going to be more affordable because people are more likely to lower their prices because they don't have as much kind of time invested in something. So as far as a consumer goes, they're going to be able to buy it more. More people buy it means more woodworkers kind of get into it and that. And overall, it's going to kind of help drive this woodworking economy that's going on.
Yeah.
Hey, when you guys got in here, did the link work for you, or did you have
It
to?
worked fine for me.
Well, I had
Well.
problems, but you know, that could be operator error on my end too. So.
Well, I did it without the question mark, and I did it with the question mark. Tommy's trying to get in here, but he can't get in. It takes him to a room by himself.
It did that to me on, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I jumped in and completely different direction.
How did you get in?
Tonight?
Yeah.
The link you sent me? Let me, I'll send him one.
I tried sending him one just saying, so see if he gets in with that. I tried to drag and drop from Brian's message to Tommy's message thing.
Yeah, in the link part, it used to give me an invite link, but now it just takes me to a YouTube page or a video embed. So now I have to... I'll try this one. See if...
And we're talking technology.
Yeah.
It's a link, man. It's a link, and we're... Ah! So,
yeah, it's without the question mark.
maybe all of a sudden I'm not qualified to talk technology. It took me 4 tries to get into the room. I'll be in the corner banging some rocks together.
I sent him an invite. I also sent him the link. So that's all I can do. But yeah, I think technology is, you know, pretty good in the workshop. I mean, look at the hand-rubbed varnishes, you know. They dry in a matter of minutes. You can get on with your life. I remember, you know, when I was a teenager, you had to, you know, brush on lacquer and wait a couple hours for it to even get dry enough to touch it.
Well, how many people now have the C3PO super glue out there that you put
Yeah.
the drops on, you spray the goo on the other stuff, and it's done.
Oh, yeah.
Cyanolate acrylica. That
Yeah. Well,
CA for sure.
I've got the wrong name for it, but what's the right one? What's the one everybody's using from FastCap?
CA, from FastCap. I don't know, I just use CA glue.
It's got a P somewhere in the title of it, but anyway, yeah, you dab it on, you spray the stuff on the other piece, and you put the two
It's
together, and it's done.
2P10.
Oh, 2P10. Okay, well, C3PO was close.
And for those that don't know it, that glue has actually been around for a long time. That's not like a new FastCap invention as such. Well, it probably is. They'd probably argue it's got some kind of chemical formula. But there is stuff called CA glue. It's super cheap,
Right.
Wood turners probably use it the most because they use it for pens and just gluing blanks together and that,
Yeah.
like filling cracks and that kind of stuff. And you just pour the stuff in, spray it with a bit of accelerant, and it just dries instantly.
I mean, I'm not saying super glue is a new technology, but like here recently, it seems like the activators and stuff that rapid seems like have popped up, you know, out of whatever crevice they were hiding in, for lack of a
Water-based
better term.
finish. I mean,
Yeah.
before you never had water-based finish.
No, and so all this is a form of technology. It just doesn't have to be digital to be technology. It's science. It's advanced chemistry. It's all something. I forgot the word I wanted to use there, but it's something that's technology-ish did a little because, yeah.
Just on kind of finishes and water-based stuff. New finish Timbermate. I'm not sure how new it is, but the awesome thing is about it, right? Usually when you have a part like put a wood putty in, you can see it. Like when you put the finish on, it changes the color, so it's different. It doesn't match in. But this stuff, it's like formulated with like it's a water-based or something, so the finish absorbs in the exact same. So it's like just another example of where technology has come along to allow them to engineer something that kind of, well, actually works, for lack of a better description, compared to some of those other wood putties.
So, is that Australian product?
I think it is. Well, it's Timbermate, and mate is a bit of an Australian word.
That's the joke I'm going for here. Is there supposed to be a comma in that, or are we missing the? Because I don't want to do my horrible Australian accent, and
Don't do it, Charles, please.
You can hear it in your head. What have you got there? Oh, I've got timber, mate. And so,
mate.
I
think it's trying to say mate is like not derogatory. Mate is like
they go together, kind of a deal.
Friend, like someone you associate with. So I think it's saying timber friend, as in it's your friend. It fixes.
Right, but if we made something here in Texas that was called Timber Y'all, then
Timber Y'all,
the joke sets itself up, right? Because what you got? I got some timber, y'all. What you got? Oh, I got the same thing. So, it.
Yeah, I think it probably is meant to be a bit of a joke, kind of in their marketing line.
Well, I mean, it works. I mean, you bought it, and it's a good product.
And you immediately know it's an Australian product. Like,
right.
You immediately know Timbermate. Like, oh, that's a Australian product. Australians are like, Timbermate, Australian product. Oh, helping the locals out.
Hey,
Like,
you know what? I think we ought to product that. Timber Y'all.
Timber Y'all. That is true. And essentially, it's like Timbermate, just it's in kind of Texan slang.
Right. It's in. We done imported it from Australia. It's Timber Y'all here. Like when you go somewhere, it's called something different when you go someplace else. We put a little label over the mate, and just print off a bunch of little y'all.
Just put y'all right there.
In Idaho, it'd be Wood Buddy.
There you go, man.
Wood Buddy up north, Timber Y'all south, and more south, it's Timbermate.
Timbermate. Timbermate.
Well, if you sell it in New England, you spell it Timbah. It's Timba.
Timba, mate.
Timba.
Now it'd be timber, good chap. That's what it'd be if it was in England.
Good chap.
Chris isn't here to argue about getting Boston accents wrong, so I can say it.
In Boston, it'd be Timber, yo.
New York is, hey, I got timber here. I mean, regional. A lot of regional applications for it.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that when we traditionally think, and I'm the world's worst about this. When we traditionally think of technology, it's the digital battery-powered little green circuit board type of thing. But that kind of stuff right there it just shows how the industry has changed. I mean, pocket hole is a form of technology. I said something about that the other day to my dad, and he looked at me funny. You know?
You looked at you funny.
It's like, what are you talking about? A pocket hole? You know, the stuff's gonna fall out. Like, no, Dad, not like in my pants. Not like my car keys have fallen from my pant leg. It's joinery, and so.
Well, get this pocket hole plug. Yeah, my mom would slap me.
So, you know, it's crazy. I mean, even look at the way sandpaper's changed.
Oh yeah.
I was confused the other day in the sandpaper aisle, just thinking, I just want rough to be not where, but it's crazy.
Oh, diamond sharpening systems.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Before that I always used a stone, and I use those diamond bars. Man, those things cut really nice. And I believe that your sharpness lasts a lot longer with the diamond.
I think a really good point actually that Moon Pie Creations made in the chat section of YouTube was Type Bond 3, and even just a Type Bond brand. Look how it's kind of progressed over the year. They started off with like Type Bond 1, which some still call the best, then they've got Type Bond 2, which is more water resistant. Now they've got Type Bond 3 out, which is like almost waterproof. So like I think that's another, like look how that's kind of evolved, the brand, and how it just gets stronger and stronger. Like I've made mistakes where I've glued Type Bond things together and tried to rip them apart, and it never ends well because you just start ripping chunks of wood out everywhere you go.
Thank goodness you've got some timber, mate. Mate.
G'day, Russ.
Oh, finally, some sanity in the room. Hey.
Hey, there's Russ.
Howdy.
How's it going, y'all?
I'm doing pretty good.
Well, so we got Timber Mate, we got Wood Buddy, we got Timber Yo and Timber Y'all. What would you call it in your neck of the woods?
Me?
Yeah.
It's a wood filler. The original brand's called Timber Mate, in case you haven't like kind of heard the conversation. And we're thinking mate is like kind of an Australian slang. What would your country call it?
Heck if I know.
Timber.
I call it timber putty.
Lumber filler.
There you go, lumber filler.
Lumber filler.
Yeah.
Lumber mate.
Or wood filler.
That's
Yeah,
another
wood filler. There you go.
I mean that's what you
like Timber Y'all better.
Yeah.
Oh, yo.
That's what I'm going to have to print me out a label and stick it to some jar, and that's going to be my next video sponsored by Timber, y'all. You got holes in your timber? Some Timber, y'all.
Timber Y'all. Sponsored by Timber Y'all. Woo!
Yeah, that'll get me flagged real sure, won't it?
Oh, Lordy.
You can't monetize this video. It's a sponsored product.
Well, you could, it would be better than having like wood repair your woody.
Well, you're there.
If you have an issue you need rewoodification for, that would be perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think we called you the mature one in the room.
Well, that was a sad judge of character.
What you up to, Russ? Sound like you're doing a lot better.
I am. After about 48 hours of antibiotics, I'm...
Cool beans.
He's back to full beard, everyone.
Yep. I caught a cold last Friday, and was sick Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I started feeling better Monday. And the typical thing as you get older, you start having things you never had before. So it seems like every time now I get a cold, it goes to a sinus infection. So.
Yeah.
I can't win for losing, so I ended up finally calling it quits and going to the doctor, and he gave me some antibiotics, so I feel a lot better.
talking about doctors. A buddy of mine, his name is Roland. He was diagnosed with cancer. He's gonna have part of his right lung removed. I
That's
just
so
wanted
sad. I saw that on
Read
Facebook.
about that on the internet or on Facebook, I should say. I see.
Yeah.
So, Roland, if you're watching this show, buddy, I'm praying for you, and I hope you get to feeling better soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Because I know what you're going through, basically, because my brother is in the hospital right now. He's had colon cancer. Last week he had the surgery, but due to some complications, we ended up putting him back in the hospital the other day. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's doing good though. Actually, when he went in, I was really worried, but I talked to him this afternoon. I was going to go up and see him, but it's a long story. I got so many things that's happened to me in this past couple of weeks. Our washing machine broke down, so I haven't washed clothes in 2 weeks.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. So anyway, I called him because I told him we were having to go to the laundromat, dude. We ain't got nothing to wear, or either that I'm gonna run around the neighborhood naked, and I'm sure they probably neighbors would. But he was in real good spirits. He feels 100% better. The complication had actually cleared up on its own, and I mean, he talked like I was like, wow. When I saw him Friday and I talked to him this afternoon, it's like I talked to 2 different people. I was talking to 2 different people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's doing much, much better. So they actually think he'll go home by Monday or Tuesday, and originally they said he'd be in there a week.
So did your son get married, or did he get cold feet?
Which one?
The one that was getting
The one where
married.
you have to race off somewhere to get the paperwork.
All I heard was he's going to Florida to get married. Did he get married?
No. That was my son's friend.
Oh.
He was on the road trip with us, and he was supposed to be getting married. And what had happened is we actually had to alter the road trip because his wife-to-be called him and said, if you ain't here and got the paperwork signed and we haven't got it to the courthouse by 5 o'clock on Friday, and we're talking about this is about 2 or 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, and we just crossed the Florida-Alabama line, we're not getting married. And he's already paid for the cruise, he's already paid for the wedding, everything's paid for. And
No,
so,
already.
yeah. So we had to haul butt. We made a 8-hour trip to about a 5.5 or 6 hour trip back to. And while we were on the way, he was on the phone getting a plane ticket, and so we had to. We got home about 6 or 7 o'clock that night. We took him to the airport at 2 o'clock. He flew to New York, and my son is in Alabama with a couple other friends, and they're watching him get married. Or I should say, they're watching his funeral this afternoon.
Okay. The funeral. So tonight's topic is workshop technology. What kind of workshop technology you have in your workshop?
I would say the best technology that has made everything a little bit better for me, because I do a lot of scrolling, is a computer. Being able to design your patterns and like I use CorelDRAW, to be able to design the patterns on CorelDRAW and print them out and then take them out there and put them on the wood. That is, I mean, used to you'd have to trace or draw your patterns on the wood when I first started. So to me, that's one of the biggest helps. And naturally, the scroll saw too is advanced. Come on, back in the 80s when I started scrolling, the scroll saws were nothing like they are today.
Yeah, especially with the, the speed control.
Yeah, the variable speed.
And
Yeah.
the electricity that runs through these new scroll saws, like, think of the old days when they had the foot pedals and they're cranking down on their foot pedal to make the scroll saw go up and down and that.
Exactly. I actually say that, and I watched a man a while back on YouTube. He made an actual scroll saw for my sewing machine, and it was foot pedaled.
It wasn't that Mark Eaton?
I don't remember, but I watched it, and I was just amazed at what he had done. And I was like,
I know Mark Eaton did something with the sewing machine.
yeah.
I think what he did was he restored it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard something about somebody making one into a lathe or something like that.
Yeah, I think I was listening a little. I was trying to get ready for my show too tonight, or it's mine and Charles' show, but he's kind of like taking a vacation, so I'm going to be running it for a while. But I was listening to y'all on YouTube when I was getting set up, and I got to thinking, you know, we're talking about that. But yeah, I think Shannon touched base on it. There's been so much changes in technology from our time to even my father's time. My father was an old man. I was not supposed to be. My father was born in 1896.
Oh, world!
Yeah.
I think you win.
And I was born in 1958, so add the math and you'll see how old he was.
Boy, he's an old man when you were born.
Exactly. So my father never saw power tools in the beginning. Power tools didn't come along until, I think, the 20s or 30s, and when he started out, it was
Yeah, I remember. What was it, in the 50s or was it the 40s that the electric hand drill came out?
yeah. See, so now he did progress. I have to admit, my old man was pretty. He wasn't the kind of person that was so stubborn to see the new technology and not take advantage of it. Like when power saws came out, oh, he was one of the first ones to buy a power saw. He right away discovered this is a heck of a lot better than sitting there for 30 minutes trying to whack a 2x4 in half with a handsaw. So.
Yeah, and Sears and Roebuck usually were the ones that got all the old electrical woodworking.
One other technology that's come in with stores especially is I recently bought a 10-inch sliding miter saw, and the really awesome thing, it's got a laser on it, and
Yeah.
you would not believe how much easier it is to line the laser up and be able to measure how much you're going to cut. Like before, you kind of have to bring it down and measure the amount and that with the blade down. Now you just have the laser and you know that's exactly where the saw's going to cut.
Oh yeah, it's tons of I think Shannon touched on it. A cordless apparatus, cordless drills, cordless saws, cordless whatever. Those were non-existent when I first started.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's come a long way, and I think it's for the better. And I know a lot of people don't crap about the CNC machine, but you know, I don't have a problem with it. I like to have one. And I think it basically goes back, and I know this has been harped on, is as long as they don't put like handmade on it, I don't care. I mean, I see a lot of good uses that I could get out of it, and it would save a lot of time for me. But I'll give you, for instance, if I had one, I've been done boxes before, like jewelry boxes and stuff. I would use it for inlays and top of the box, which would make the box sell better and look a lot better.
That's what I want to do when I one day get mine is cutting board inlays. You know, customization. I mean, think of the wedding gifts alone you can do.
Exactly.
You know, with Jack and Diane's into the top of it, and there you go.
It's not any different than anything else. When I was a kid growing up, my brother got into painting houses, and it used to be done with a brush and roller, and along came the airless sprayer. My brother was one of 3 contractors in Polk County, Florida, to have one of the first airless sprayers. And his builders would tell him, "Don't bring that thing on my job. I don't want it on my job." And I'm like, "Really?" And so it took a while for that to come around, and now everybody uses an airless sprayer.
Oh yeah, I remember some of the farmers back home saying that they didn't like having tractors on their land because it's bad on the crops.
You're gonna laugh at this, but when I grew up, I grew up on a farm, a mule, and that's how he plowed the fields.
Oh yeah.
I watched him do it. I know he had a mule, and that's how he plowed.
Well, so far, if the robots rise up to take over the planet, my shop is safe. So, not too much technology. I don't think I can defeat in here at the moment. But
yeah, the only thing I've got in here that's got a computer chip in it is my laptop. So I don't know if that can get up off the stand and bite me in the butt or not.
Come at you all clamshell style, you know.
Like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Wixie came out with their angle gauge. They also got their height and depth gauges. They also have the digital readouts for your fence. so you could be exactly perfect with the distance away from the blade. I mean, I seen Laney Shaughnessy put that on his table saw, and I was like, man, that's cool.
Hey,
And, and you know, I never heard of table saw sleds until, until I got into woodworking a few years ago. But back in the old day, we never used table saw sleds.
no, I would say I made my first one probably about 5 years ago, but you're right. They're non-exempt. I got a little thing in my hand that's probably one of the greatest inventions for homeowners and carpenters alike, a stud finder.
Yeah. Oh, you better keep that away from your wife.
Yeah, she won't find one near her. Not unless she goes to the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll be going to Walmart trying to find a stud. You got to tell her it ain't going to work good for her.
Yeah, but I'm serious. A little thing like that. Now think about that. How much easier is it when you're going to hang a picture, you're going to do anything with that little device, and they didn't have those 30 years ago.
Ah, come on. You ain't doing it right unless you're knocking on that wall, buddy.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, and the distant measures.
Yes.
It just point at something that tells you exactly how far it is away from the tip of that gun.
I used one before I got out of the construction kind of fell apart, and I closed out my construction company. I used one, and we tested it for quite a few jobs. I would measure the room and then use it, and I got to where I just used that, and it would
Well,
be.
you're into construction there. How would you set up a cabinet to keep it nice and level?
How would I set up a cabinet to keep it nice and level to hang it on the wall?
Yeah.
The way I used to, uppers or lowers?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. On my uppers, the way we used to do it was take thin strips of board, mark down from the top, and make a line and level that line, and then put thin strips of board on the wall so we could just push it up there on top of the thin strip of board. It was pre-leveled. We didn't have to level it anymore because the board was level. And then
what if this room is totally round?
Then you're screwed.
Well, what would you say if I had a product that it rides on a pole, goes from the ceiling to the floor, you adjust it any height you want, turn on a laser, and it puts a nice little red line around it?
I was going to say, in a round room, that would be my own. I have a laser too, but it's on a tripod. But that would be my only suggestion, is put a laser in the middle of the room and let it spin around and mark the wall.
Now, see, Fast Cap sells the laser jam, and it does that exactly same thing. You can mark out a cabinet and make sure it's nice and level all the way down that wall.
Or, of course, the other option is 3D print the room with everything you actually want hung already on it.
Yeah.
That solves the whole problem.
Yeah, 3D print that puppy.
I've heard so many people even recently, and I know we're wandering off. This is not technology, but about when they hung cabinets, how they hung them. I'm like, wow, I didn't use no jack. I didn't use this or that. We went in and measured down, like I said, a couple of places, leveled a line, put strips of wood on the wall. It would hold the cabinet for you. You just push it up against the wall. It sit on the strip. You screw it to where you want it. When everything's laid, you go back and pull the wood off the wall, because most of the time when I hung cabinets, they were in new construction. And if they weren't in new construction, they were going to repaint the kitchen and everything anyway, so we even would carry a little drywall mud or whatever and patch little holes and everything first. So when they came in, so I never had a problem hanging cabinets.
Yeah.
That's another thing is there's a controversy. Do you hang your uppers or the lowers first? And I always hung my uppers first, just for that reason, get up against the wall, and then we come in and put the lowers in.
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, I've got a house, so it's good chatting to you. See you guys next time.
Okay, Reed.
See ya.
Yeah, I remember watching this old cabinet guy he had so many routers, and I was like, why in the world would you have so many routers for? He says, well, I got a router for this, and I got a router for that, and you know, who's got time to change bits? Just get to work. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was cheaper, it was faster and more efficient for him to have a router for the different bits than it was to change the bits.
Exactly. And he operated out of an old ambulance.
Yeah. Yeah, I had when I was doing full swing construction, I usually had at least 2 of everything in case one broke. And then routers, I had 3 or 4 routers. You know, especially 2 of everything. If you can't have 2 of everything, you get in the middle of something, something breaks. I mean.
Exactly. Downtime alone costs you money.
Oh yeah. And the secondary, the backup maybe not as good as, like I would have a nice DeWalt power saw, for instance, and I'd go down and buy a $30 cheap skill saw and throw a nice blade on it. If the DeWalt failed or went down, the skill saw might not be the best in the world, but I can get a 2-before cut or whatever and get through the day with it.
Exactly. Well, that's all we have for this week, guys. Next week, we're going to talk about workshop operations. And hopefully some of you guys get a hold of me at brian@summerswoodworking.co, or you can get a hold of me on Facebook. I'm getting a lot of feedback. But, yeah, workshop operations. Basically, what we're going to be talking about is what it takes for us to get going in the shops. Almost like workshop motivation, but a little different. We're going to tell you the process, what it takes for us to get started on a project. So, and other things like business, like say, like how do you get your business, how do you promote, stuff like that. That's what we'll talk about next week. Like I said, if you want to be on the show, get a hold of me on Facebook or get a hold of me at brian@summerswoodworking.co. And talk to you then. I believe we'll do it about, well, we'll keep it the same time, 5 o'clock Central, so it'll be 7 Eastern. You got anything to add to that, Shannon?
Not at the moment. Like always, I'll think of it when we're done, but...
Yeah. Well, hopefully things pick up soon. I know it's been hot. People are trying to get out to the shops just to make things. I missed out on whirly gigs because it's just been too hot. I can't get out in my shop and enjoy it. No AC really kills me.
We can't all be Jerry, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed whirly gigs, and I'm going to miss the pallet challenge between the California trip and being sick and my brother in the hospital. This is the first. I take that back, the second time, because I was on a talk with you and Brian the other morning and Charles, but this is like the second time in 3 weeks I've been in my shop.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I can get in on the upcycle challenge, the pallet upcycle challenge, Sterling has. But if the heat doesn't let up, I ain't going to be doing it. But, for the viewers that watch the show, that's going on in August. In September, you got the Birdhouse Challenge. So that's all I got for this week. Talk to you guys later.